Product performance is obviously a huge driver to how we're going to be optimizing e-commerce sites as a marketer. But understanding what we're seeing in the product performance reports on Google Analytics is something that I feel like I should go deep into detail so you can make better decisions for your marketing. So in this tutorial, we're going to go into the cart to detail rate as well as the buy to detail rate. And I'm going to explain how to interpret those metrics and then how you can use that information to build out better campaigns. All right, let's hop right into it.
Okay, so let's dive into product performance within Google Analytics. So to navigate here, you're going to go to conversions, e-commerce, product performance. And what you're going to notice here on the screen is a bunch of fictitious products within my e-commerce site. And one of the main metrics I want to look at right now is our shopping behavior. So the first is the metric that I want to focus on, which is cart to detail ratio. So this is the amount of products that have been added to the cart divided by the views of a product detail page. And in this case, it's 11.4%. And as an analyst, what I'm looking for is to see, one, identify what is actually bringing that average down, right? So that's going to help me first identify which products are performing the worst. Obviously, the lower the number is, the lower the overall performance of the product is actually going to be generally, although it is possible that if it is a low number like we see on number 1, where it's not exactly stacking up like number 2, that maybe that there's room for optimization. So here's what I mean. So first I'm going to actually organize this. Anything less than 11, let's just say 11%, right, to make this easier. I want to see all the products that are performing below average. And I get a bunch of these here, right? And what I'm actually seeing is the cart to detail. This product is actually driving a decent amount of revenue, actually the most amount of revenue on the site. Yet it still has a really low cart to detail rate. So what can that mean to me as a marketer? Well, this is the ratio between people who are landing on the page and actually adding the product to the cart. What a low cart to detail rate could mean is that maybe we have advertisements that are running to advertise this one thing, but then they're getting to a landing page that's not exactly the same as the marketing copy on the ad. So maybe I have to do some tweaking there, and that might be my first piece that I want to investigate, right? It might also mean that I have to do more convincing within the product detail page, and maybe the products that are above average right now have greater details, or maybe they have more reviews, right? So that might be something that I'm going to look into. But this is a great start at saying, okay, these are below performing. Obviously, we have some high performers here. Even in the second one, this is bringing in a decent amount of revenue at $840. We have to figure out how to better optimize that, right? Whether it's packaging things together or increasing or changing the marketing copy, implementing A/B tests, things of that nature. So that's just what's going on with the lower performing ads, or lower performing products, I'm sorry. Let's say I wanted to kind of benchmark it against the products that are doing the best. Now what I could do here is say, okay, listen, my top 3 products are all below 14%, which is well above our 11.4% average. So what I might actually do is check out the landing pages for each of these products and figure out, hey, what am I doing well here that I'm not doing well on the other pages? And then let's implement those changes. It might even just be that it's just really great ad copy, or something that's pointing to it. But we're going to want to make sure that we make those actual adjustments. And the same goes for the other metric, which I feel is really important here, which is, let me take off this filter real quick. Buy to detail ratio. So this is the unique purchases divided by the number of product views. So the people who are actually looking at the product detail pages, the percentage of which they are actually buying. And if I do a quick filter here, I'm going to notice that some of the highest buy to detail ratios are actually some of the lower performance. But what they might tell me is that maybe there's not enough people that are getting to these pages, right? Or maybe it's being bundled in a way, right? So these could be incentive items, and they're being bundled with some of the other products. So in this case, what I might want to do is actually make sure that they're more visible, or continue to bundle these with other products just to make sure that they get in front of people, because the ratio in which that they're actually buying these products are much higher than that 0.5%. And I'm going to hope that on a real e-commerce site, the numbers are going to be a little bit better than this, because these are actually quite low. So that's just some quick examples of how to use product performance. And again, what I like to pay attention to is the cart to detail rate out of this report, because I find that that gives you the most amount of data in terms of getting them to add to cart. And then from cart to buying, that's a whole nother process. And I actually think that it is best answered in the shopping behavior module, or rather, I should say the checkout behavior module, because it actually tells you from the step of adding to cart to checkout, where the drop-off is, right? So in this case, the drop-off has to do with billing and shipping, payments, reviews, and sessions with transactions. Your process might be a little bit different, but this tool is really great at actually trying to show you where the drop-off in conversion is happening. And in this case, there's some big drop-offs. So for instance, 60% people are dropping off in billing and shipping. What that might mean is, maybe we need a way to streamline way to add addresses where they're auto-filled, right? Google APIs is a really great way of doing that. Payment drop-off, that's 83% of the people who make it are dropping off a payment. My guess is that it's a really long process to enter their information. I'd recommend adding things like Venmo Pay, PayPal, Apple Pay, and maybe even one-touch payment to make it really easy. And then finally, there's a review step here, which seems pretty... Actually, it's probably not a traditional review, what I'm thinking. This is probably just a review of everything. So again, 97% drop through, that is super high. And what I'm going to want to look at, I bet you that there's a technical problem here. And I'm going to look into that and actually see if I can replicate what's going on there, see what's happening. And I bet you that those numbers could change. So from an analyst standpoint, this is what I would be looking at in the checkout behavior flow as it relates to product performance. And then finally, shopping behavior. And this is kind of a summary of what we were looking at before between cart to detail and buy to detail ratio. But it kind of gives us a overview of what's going on from all sessions to the people who are looking at products, what the drop-off rate is, the people who are adding to cart, checking out, and then having transactions. So this is just another example of a chart that can show us that, hey, where are the steps that we need to further optimize? There's no doubt that all sessions to product views, there's a massive drop-off. We really need to figure out how to attract people to those product detail pages. So that's something I'm going to look into. Maybe I'm going to look into pop-ups. Maybe I'm going to look into making sure that my offers are front and center so that people know what the deals are, what's on sale, and what is, again, what my marketing is, and making sure that when they get to a page that the messaging is right. And then from there, the same with product views, I'm going to make sure that drop-off is significantly lower. 80% is still pretty low. But what's pretty interesting is, when we get to this add to cart section, right? Let's say we get them to or product views, let's take it from here. Obviously, there's a big drop-off here. So how can we keep attracting people who are obviously interested in the products but not yet convinced that they should add to cart? Well, what's really cool here is that I can actually, by clicking on this step, I can create an e-commerce segment. And when they're in the current view, I can create the segment. And what I could actually do is begin to target out those users within advertising itself. So I could use those segments, say if they've viewed the product, we want to send them an ad. The same thing with sessions add to cart and sessions with checkout, but not transactions. So I can actually create those segments, and right now I'm filtering that. I'm going to actually take that out. But when those segments are created, they can be imported into Google Ads to actually be able to target out customers, and that's super important to be able to do. So, that's just an example of how we can easily improve product performance. So if you're looking for more tips within e-commerce, how to improve your performance, definitely check out all of our blog posts, check out our reviews on Google Analytics. There's tons of guides for you that you're going to be able to do it yourself. And if you have any questions, drop it in the comments below, and me and my team are going to get back to you guys. Hope you have a good one.